What's up, Wildlings? You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest podcast in Louisville, Kentucky, the Sean versus Wild podcast. And of course, I'm your host, per usual, the man, the myth, the Sean Thriller Smith, the guy putting rad back into talk radio. And not only is this show the hottest podcast in Louisville, Kentucky, for one fleeting moment last week, we were the number 4 hottest podcast in the United States when it comes to music podcasts. So the number 4 hottest music podcast in the U.S. And that's all because of you, the listener. I cannot thank you enough. And how exciting is this? I know we're going to get to number 1. So just keep on doing what you're doing, guys. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for everything. All the visibility, everything, all the ratings, the reviews, the sharing, it is really coming in handy and really showing some great results. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. And today on the show, it's for you lovers and dreamers out there. It is a special Valentine's Day episode of the Sean versus Wild podcast. We are keeping the tradition alive. Last year, Alyssa Mason stopped by the Smithsonian, and we were chatting all things Valentine's Day, the perfect gift, the not so perfect gift, all that sort of thing. And we handcrafted for you the ultimate Valentine's Day music playlist, which is still available on Spotify if you want to check it out. It's still relevant this year, whatever. It's the ultimate list, bro. You know, it's razor sharp. It's a lethal weapon. So this year, I decided I got to have her back. My holiday correspondent, Alyssa Mason's back here in the Smithsonian with me today. And speaking of holiday correspondence, because of the awesome feedback that I got on my Christmas episode, my sister Leslie popped into the Smithsonian with a bottle of wine that was really old and not that great, but we're going to sit down over a very suggestive, a very strange titled bottle of wine. And we're talking Valentine's Day again this year. And we are handcrafting for you this year a list of the quintessential top 5 romantic comedies. So if you want to watch a romantic comedy or you want to watch 5 romantic comedies, we got you covered. Everything you need to know, the quintessential list will be on this episode. So guys, it's going to be a good one. It's long. It's jam-packed, so I'm not going to talk too much, but I got to get the business out of the way. So make sure you go to audiofileinc.com and talk to Shane about getting your T-shirts printed. So if you got a podcast, a band, a company, a logo, something that you want on a T-shirt or some other sort of fabric, whatever shape that might come in, you got to go to audiofileinc.com, talk to Shane, and he's going to give you the best deal in town, no matter what town you live in. And he's going to ship to all 50 nifty United States. So you talk to Shane, tell him the Wild Man sent you. That's AUDIOPHILEINK.com. And I get a lot of messages on the regular. Hey, who's your shirt guy? Hey, where do you get your merch printed from? That's the guy. So Shane at Audiophile Inc. will get you all set up. Also, big thanks to Audible. You guys know Audible. It's an Amazon company. They're handing out all these audiobooks. And because you're a listener of the Sean vs. Wild podcast, you will get a free 30-day trial of Audible with a complimentary audiobook. They have over 180,000 audiobooks for you to choose from. I love this service personally. I always got some autobiography or biography, as you guys have heard over the last few weeks, going. So very exciting. Definitely go sign up for that. And when you do, they're going to drop some money into my PayPal account to help me keep the lights on, and every little bit helps. This is the goal. The goal is to do this full time, okay? Or do it at least part-time. I want to be semi-pro at least. So that's the goal, of course, going into 2018. And it's all anything you guys can do to support, I would definitely appreciate it. It's your support that got me to number 4 on the iTunes charts. And so if you like what you hear, of course, tell your friend, tell your Valentine's Day date about the show. When you guys are face-to-face at White Castle enjoying a romantic dinner, definitely say, hey, lover, I listen to a great podcast. It's called Sean vs. Wild. You should check it out also. But yeah, and also big thanks to Joe Brock. He boops the dials on this episode and every episode since episode 1. And the guy works super hard. I cannot do the show without him. So some of that money that I get from Audible, it will go to fund Joe's, I don't know, guitar buying addiction, I guess. I don't know. It's going to go to a great cause. But yeah, thank you guys so much, of course, for tuning in. And I'm trying to keep this fast, short, and sweet because we got a long episode today. So get your message hearts ready. Get your overstuffed sized plush Valentine's Day gorilla and put your headphones in and prepare to get wild. It's the Valentine's Day episode of the Sean vs. Wild podcast. Valentine's Day 2K18 brought to you today by Bitch, the wine that my sister brought over from 2008.
I've been saving it for a special occasion.
Yeah.
10 years.
I like that. A decade in the making here. Mm-hmm. And when you popped that screw top off, it certainly smelled as if it had been sitting for about 10 years.
There wasn't even a cork involved, so
No.
they want to make it really easy for
They
the
wanted
drinker.
to have, yes, as few obstacles in between you and the bitch.
You already are a bitch,
As
probably,
possible.
if you're buying this
Yeah.
wine. And if you had to deal with a cork, the bitchness
cork?
level.
Oh, absolutely.
The cork.
Or you're already so drunk that you don't care about how bad the wine tastes.
Exactly.
And you can't deal with a cork because you're so drunk. So
I
just
feel like
ease.
because the back of bitch is on the label, and then the back label just says bitch over and over and over and
Right.
over
For like
again.
50
Yeah.
times.
It seems like it's more novelty than taste.
Than
that they're going for
drinkable.
in this.
Yeah. Right.
This would be the perfect, something for like a bachelorette party, or in this
Absolutely.
case, our Galentine's Day.
That's right.
Perfect for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So you might be thinking, Sean, what are you doing on Galentine's Day? Well, I don't know. It's just going to be a great time. So welcome to the Sean vs. Wild podcast. I'm here with my Valentine's Day correspondent, Alyssa Mason. You remember her from our Valentine's Day special last year.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, you're welcome. And then also, too, thanks to all the positive response from my Christmas episode, my sister Leslie has joined us here at the Smithsonian as well. My holiday correspondent in general. Leslie, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for the introduction.
Hey, no problem. I haven't seen you since about Christmas. How have you
This
been?
is true. Awesome. Awesomely sick for a long time.
Yes.
Got the old flu,
I feel
even
that.
though I got the flu shot.
Yeah.
going around.
And and I still have the old post-nasal drip.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
It's
For
really
an audio
Yeah.
show.
I know, right? It's really sexy when I wake up in the morning too.
Actually,
That's
I was
my favorite
sick,
part.
I think, or getting over sickness the last time I was here, too.
Yeah.
So
I was just sick last week. So
now that we're all sick.
Now we're in a room full of germs together.
Great.
Yeah.
now that
Let's
we're
drink.
locked in,
Door closed.
door closed,
No air movement
No.
going on at all.
It's gonna
Cheers.
be
Yeah.
rad, guys. We're gonna see how our Valentine's Day pans out. And right off the bat, guys, podcasts are not live so much, or at least mine is not live. And we're actually gathered here today on Super Bowl Sunday
That's right.
to chat. Now, I know you guys, I don't want to assume, but as far as I know, probably not following the NFL season this year.
No, I skipped out on the fantasy league this
Right.
year. Haven't really been keeping up too much. No, Tom Brady's in it again, I think, right?
The Patriots.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
assume that the Patriots play every year
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl. So I'm like, hey, at least I got that part. I don't
That's what
know
I'm saying. I don't follow sports either.
I
Sometimes
just like the food.
Yeah, me too.
I just like to
No
watch the
doubt.
Super Bowl for the pizza rolls. My hungry
Meatballs.
guys.
The bagel bites.
Right. Could you imagine if you went to a party that was just specifically pizza rolls and bagel bites, and they're like, all you did was just heat up food?
That actually sounds like my dream.
Wings.
Right.
I'm in it for the wings, the
Yep.
queso,
For sure.
You know.
Buffalo dip.
Yep, buffalo chicken dip,
yeah,
all that good
meatballs.
stuff. That's
And
what I love about it.
I'm really into it for the halftime show, which Justin Timberlake will be doing the halftime show. And by the time you listen to this, guys, you know that Justin Timberlake has already killed it
He has,
on
for
the
sure.
halftime show. Do you think there'll be any exposed nipples on this one?
I think they might be sans nip
Yeah,
this
I think so.
time
They
around.
may have learned their lesson.
It's a little more in this day and age. It's
Yeah.
like you're not going to get away with that anymore.
You know,
so.
I still don't know what really happened with that whole thing.
I feel like I was like 11 and then I was
Yeah.
watching it and something happened and like there was a nipple involved and it
was
went
nipple
right
gate.
over my head. Yeah, it did not.
Right. My whole thing is I feel like they went the wrong way with it. I feel like they always played it off like it was a wardrobe malfunction. I'm like, well, how many wardrobe malfunctions happen where just the nipple comes out, and then when it's out, there's like a decorative tribal sun
adorning it.
And there was exactly like the Velcro ripoff thing around. Look,
Yeah.
what, that wasn't
Yes.
a malfunction. That was clearly
The
intended
function.
to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
This is-
functioning perfectly.
This
it
is the
looked like.
wardrobe's only function
Yes.
at this point. And guys, you nailed it. But yeah, so do you guys hear the new JT record yet?
I wish.
Haven't.
I know I haven't.
Well, see, guys, don't hate us because by the time that you've heard this, when we recorded it, it's only been out like 2 days. So
Right.
got some new singles that were on YouTube. I've checked it out. It's going to be awesome. So.
I love JT though. I
Me
really
too.
like. The last record, like album vinyl record that I bought was Future Sex Love Sounds.
Perfect.
And I was walking out of the record store and there was like this like guy in his like late 50s, look Grateful Dead looking, type of guy. And he's like, "Oh, you got a record? Please tell me what you got. Tell me." And I pulled it out and I was like, "It's Justin Timberlake." And his face just dropped. I did not.
How could you?
Yeah. And I
Like,
was like,
oh,
"You
man.
clearly haven't listened to Future Sex Love Sounds because it's amazing."
Yeah,
is.
because you're obviously in the past.
Yeah.
You haven't listened to the future because you're wearing a tie-dyed Grateful Dead t-shirt.
Yes, exactly. So I got shamed for buying it, but I'm proud of that purchase.
Yeah, I would be too. Love is in the air, guys, because it's Valentine's Day, and who doesn't love Justin Timberlake?
Really?
So,
I mean,
certainly
that's a
hope-
great segue.
guys. I certainly hope that he doesn't do anything crazy on this halftime show, and we're sitting here praising him. And it turns
Like,
out
I love him.
10 days into the future, he's in hot water. But yeah, so I'm joined here today by Alyssa and my sister Leslie, and we're all great buddies, and we like a lot of pop culture and great things like that. So I figured we are going to talk about Valentine's Day. Now, I know Alyssa and I had given some of our opinions on Valentine's Day last year. We are going to try to not so much rehash our conversation last year. We might reiterate at times, but we're also going to get Leslie's opinions on certain things here. And then we're going to play a really fun game. Hopefully it's really fun with our favorite romantic comedies. I know we touched on some of our favorites last year, or we talked about some movies, but this one, we're going to give you the definitive list of romantic comedies you have to watch by the end of this podcast. So check it out. It's going to be 1 hour of, hopefully great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's always great conversation.
Yeah.
With us. Yeah.
Exactly. You know how it is. So it's 2018. And I almost said it was 2017, but now I had to remind myself we're
God,
already
you're so 2000 and late
Dude.
over there.
nice. So it's 2018. Let me ask you a question. What is romantic in 2018?
So far.
No, I'm just saying like
What is romance in the 2018
yes,
world?
what is romance in this we've had a lot of changes happen over the past few years, and especially over the roles. I feel like just over the roles and as far as like male and female and all that sort of thing, and what is love and what isn't, and all that good sort of thing. So what is romance in 2018? What is romantic?
I mean, I feel like you have to have a phone involved. I don't know. I feel like I'm not like in the dating game anymore. So I feel like it really is different now as far as like how people can be wooed versus back in my day when I was wooed.
Right.
Yeah, it was a little different.
When Brandon came a courting.
yeah, on MySpace,
Right.
Now it's like as far as like romance for like new couples,
That's tough.
that is tough.
Okay, a man holding the door for you, romantic or not?
That's not really
No,
romantic.
because I mean, the homeless guy at the convenience store would hold the door for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's just general politeness.
Someone buying dinner, romantic or not?
I don't really look at it as romantic.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, because you could technically go out with your friends, and I could be like, "Hey, I'm going to
I
buy
got you.
dinner." Yeah, and then next time they buy
Sure.
dinner.
I'm just trying to go off stereotypes that were hot maybe 50 years ago.
I think they're really a lot the same, though. I think the idea of romance in pop culture really kind of like it's one of those things that stands the test of time. Like it doesn't really matter if it's 2018 or 2000. It's like romance is buying. I don't really like flowers, but the whole thing of flowers and
Chocolates.
candles and chocolates and I think now it's like kind of like a Pixar it didn't happen kind of generation. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So if
For
it's something
sure.
that can be a good photo op, it's probably gonna make your girl pretty happy.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be photogenic.
Yeah.
And I think too, sometimes people get lost in maybe it is because there's such a culture in having to be on your phone or, meeting people that way that, like, I know for sure, like, when I talk to some girls, that are younger than me, they're like, oh, he's so perfect because he's nice and he's respectful. And I'm like, okay, so these are basic qualities that you would look for in any human being. So where's the awesomeness? Like, this is just like the threshold. You know what I mean?
Nice. He's respectful. He has tattoos all over his face.
Right. Only 2 teardrops, though. So
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
It's not too shabby. But yeah.
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just as single as always and just as confused as always. So I just feel, be a good person, be nice, be friendly. I don't try to play any games.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
a
think-
game player.
right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
know?
good thing, though.
Where it's like, oh, you got to be a jerk for like a little bit, and then you got to kick it into gear with like
You don't have a fedora collection
Yeah.
that you.
exactly. Now that I'm bald, I just embrace being bald. When I was balding, I had quite a hat collection.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like be a good person and try to be funny. Try to
I
get
think
in on
funny
the funniness.
amongst all of us is probably like one of the something
sure.
we can all agree on is that if you don't share my sense of humor, we're not going to. It's not going to last a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to have the same kind of sense of humor. You have to make me laugh. And that's like friends or romantically either, but especially romantically, because if I'm spending all my time with you and cracking jokes left and right and you're not
Dropping
catching
bombs,
them,
yeah.
then, I don't really see a future.
That's true.
I do have to take it back, though. I did think of one romantic thing. If Adam were to come to me and say, you know what, we're going to spend this Sunday watching The Office all day long, that to me is romantic. So many good relationships in The Office.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. This is going to lead off to a question that I was thinking the other day. Who is the better couple? Jim and Pam or Ross and Rachel?
I'm more of a, like, not either one of those people.
Yeah,
Either one of
neither
those
am I.
couples.
Yeah, I thought for sure you were going to ask who had the best relationship in The Office. And then
That's
I would,
Michael and Holly.
Oh, yeah. But see, I'm kind of team Dwight and Angela,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very hard. But Michael and Holly from the jump, for sure. Yeah, they were equally just ridiculous and they
Weirdo,
found-
affectionate.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, just like super nerds together. Ross and Rachel, I mean, they did, they were in like the on again, off again thing for so long. But I can't see them with anybody else but each other. But that still doesn't mean that they're a great couple.
Right, yeah.
It's just
We
like,
were on a break.
yeah, can't
Yeah.
handle
Sure.
it.
I'm just curious who had the most iconic TV relationship. Everybody knows the best relationship on TV is Dan and Roseanne.
Oh,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
sure. Dan, the big football star.
Dan Connor, the big football star. I like watching Roseanne. I have the full, cool brag, I have the full series.
No big deal. No big deal.
NBD.
Yeah.
But I got the full series, and I do like watching it because their dynamic is so great. Like you can just tell that they genuinely liked being around each other in real life and on the show. And
For sure.
yeah, I would say Dan and Roseanne maybe the greatest couple on TV. Well, besides Lucy and Desi.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Oh,
Lucy
yeah.
and Ricky.
Yeah. Lucy and Ricky would be top. I think out of like the Jim and Pam or Ross and Rachel, as far as like iconic, I really do think Jim and Pam, even though to me, I don't think their relationship is good. I didn't connect with it all that much, but I think like over pop culture wise of fans of The Office, like really, really look up to Jim and Pam as relationship goals.
Yeah.
So
I like The Office.
I know we talked about it on the
I
Christmas
just
episode.
don't think I like it as much as everyone else.
or
I
as much
really-
as me and Leslie,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we really like it.
We do. In fact, I had to quote when I sent Alyssa her Christmas card this year.
Yeah, I posted it on Instagram.
I didn't even sign anything like holiday. Well, it was holiday related, but nothing like, good tidings or Christmas cheer. It was an Office quote.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice. Who's your
Yeah.
favorite character on The Office?
Dwight.
That's tough because I love them all so much. But I'm gonna have to say Kelly.
Gotcha. My favorite character, the Nard Dog.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Andy Bernard, my absolute favorite. He's the standout
Nard
for me. So yeah, does The Office have like a Valentine's Day episode or something that I should be watching?
They have a couple of Valentine's Day episodes that are pretty good.
The one where Jim and Pam get drunk at Valentine's Day
yeah.
lunch. Yeah. And yeah, come back to the office wasted. That one's a pretty good one.
Yep. And then there's I don't think it's the same one where he get Pam, he gets her jewelry. They're supposed to do homemade gifts, but he ends up getting her jewelry because he's like, I couldn't make that. And she gets him a comic book like about him as like Rick's terror on The Office or whatever. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
They're pretty good Valentine's Day episodes.
You know, I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to give The Office another run.
I really think you should.
I
do
watched
too.
it, but I watched it up to a certain point when it was on TV, and now that it's, you know, as old as this bitch wine, you know, I might not have to go revisit it. You know, I did like Parks and Rec. You know, I was really into Parks and Rec too. Which Parks and Rec was a show that I didn't watch because I was watching The Office. I was like, this is like just like The Office,
Yeah,
so I'm not
Office
gonna
rip-off.
watch
That's
it.
what I
Yeah.
thought at first too. I was like, I'm not gonna. I like The Office, you
Right.
know. Like
What
I'm
is
not
this
gonna watch this, but it
second-rate
actually
show?
is really good.
Yeah, and then once I kind of cooled on The Office, like I stopped watching probably whenever Jim and Pam got married. Oh, what was that flowing noise? Looks like someone's cracked.
This is a bitch 2008 red.
Yes.
Someone's cracked the bitch. But yeah, so I think Jim and Pam got married, and I just kind of stopped. Once Michael Scott left, I stopped watching it for sure.
And that's totally understandable.
So I need to
Yeah.
kind of revisit it, I think. But then I did pick up on Parks and Rec, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So
And I like Ben and Leslie's relationship on Parks and Rec also.
I like
totally
Andy and April,
supportive.
too.
Yes, Andy and April for sure.
The Cones of Dunshire. That's fantastic. Actually, you know how he's like really into the board game Settlers of Catan? Well, like the company that makes Settlers of Catan actually is making a Cones of Dunshire game.
They should, because
I
they
know.
would make some money off that.
Yes, they
So,
would.
It's a genius. The Cones of Dunshire. And who doesn't like April and Andy?
Right. Yeah.
You
they're
can't
perfect.
not.
Yeah.
Ugh, they're great.
Snake juice. Yeah. So anyway, great. Yeah. So now that we've got all of our Office and Parks and Rec in,
I know, right? Alyssa and I will just find any excuse
welcome
to talk.
to our life
Yes.
where all we talk about is shows that ended like 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
I knew it was coming. I just figured we'll just go ahead and get it out.
Yeah,
of the
and
way.
there we go.
And if you join our group and you can't follow along with any of the quotes or anything, you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes. Fantastic. What have you guys been watching anything else lately besides The Office and?
Not really. No.
So- my
that's,
gosh.
I feel like that's like the precedence. So, like you said, like that's like something that's romantic. I feel like a lot of people can agree to that in this day and age. That's very 2018. I had to check my watch to see what year it was. That's very 2018.
Do you all watch This Is Us?
I haven't watched it. I heard it's a total cry fest.
It is, but it is
Is
also,
it?
speaking of romantic, it is, it also, I think, has definitely, if it hasn't already, is going to like shape a lot of like young women, I guess, as far as like what their ideal guy is, because in this show, they like put the husband up on this like new, spoiler alert, he dies. I mean, we know in the
geez.
beginning
Oh,
of the
God,
show
now we don't even have to
that,
watch it.
that he
Yeah.
dies at some point. But like they build him up and put him up on this pedestal of like he's this great man and he does all the, and it's like everything he does is romantic for his wife, and then he like dies tragically or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Or whatever. No big
It's
deal.
pretty cool. You should watch it. You're gonna love
He
it.
dies or whatever, but it's like really good.
You're gonna love
That's
this.
the best
It's pretty
synopsis I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The husband's great and all, but he dies and whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
pretty cool, I
I think it's
guess.
pretty romantic.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah. Just a nice Greek tragedy, modern day. You'll love it.
You know me.
Check it
Right.
out. Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on like live TV now.
Okay.
It actually comes on tonight right after the Super Bowl. It's like a special episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. A special episode. Maybe this is the one where he goes.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is
Guys.
the one. It's tragic.
Or whatever.
I can't wait.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So a high, a very low, right after. They need
Yeah.
something to really
Right.
tear you
Bring
down.
everybody down.
Well,
Yeah.
the Super Bowl's for the sports people in the family, and then the people that really enjoy crying a lot, like I do, like they can get theirs, kind of after the Super Bowl.
So
Right.
the
Eat a
entire-
lot of food, eat my feelings, and then cry my
absolutely.
feelings afterward.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that is not romantic anymore? Can you think what would be a situation where you might be like, yeah, this is not romantic? I know we talked last year the oversized stuffed animal, which I feel is the best gift.
I know. Yeah.
I almost brought you one. I really did.
I really thought you were gonna have one here out.
Sorry, guys. I just have a life-size Michael Jackson to
Close enough.
yeah.
overlook us.
Put it like a pink feather boa on it, and then that would be totally appropriate for Valentine's Day.
What's the best Valentine's Day gift, in your opinion, Leslie?
Food.
Food?
Yeah, for sure, food, because I love to eat.
Candies or actual
Didn't
food?
you guys do like a fondue one time for Valentine's Day or something, like a chocolate fondue?
No,
something?
we did we tried to be cheesy and coincide the years that we were celebrating with like restaurant names.
We tried to be cheesy, so it
that's
was
cool.
actually a cheese fondue.
yeah. So for our 8-year anniversary, when we went to 8 Up.
Oh,
And then
cool.
our 9-year anniversary, we went to Over the 9. That has since closed. But yeah, I can't remember what we did for
That's
our 10-year
cool.
anniversry though. Tin Roof,
Tin
maybe,
Roof,
yeah.
maybe. And then on 11, we're going to go to
7-Eleven for some hot dogs.
get a couple beef franks.
You gotta throw, you gotta give yourself a little bit of difference there,
Yeah.
levels. Of,
Well, yeah, I can't be bougie every year.
exactly.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth.
For our 11th year, we got to go to 7-Eleven.
It's slushy and rotating wieners.
I get, good Lord.
It is Valentine's Day
It is,
after all.
yes.
After all. But yeah, got to get all beef franks and spicy Cheetos. Flamin' hot Cheetos.
no doubt.
So
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that's necessarily not romantic anymore these days. Because I feel like I said, most of the things like kind of stand the test of time as far as romance goes. For me personally, I don't really think like the getting the flowers and the chocolates on Valentine's Day is really, it's kind of played out.
It
a
is
little bit.
totally played out.
That's why your idea, although I don't like oversized stuffed animals, it is different from the norm.
it is
Totally.
original. That's what you're going to get with me, guys. Or gals. Originality.
Or if it could not be like a giant bear, if it was a different animal
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
was
like
oversized.
like if you love giraffes or if you love,
Yeah.
I
you
feel
know,
like a purple gorilla
yes.
would be great. It's got to be pink or purple or yellow or something.
or get the fuck out.
Speaking of candy, though, because I was, you said food, and I was like, candy. Do you have a favorite? Valentine's Day candy?
Reese's, hands down.
I was gonna say,
I was
my
going to say
favorite.
the Russell Stover, just like assorted.
Yeah.
Because it always has, I know this probably sounds gross to everybody out there, but the lemon stuffed, like with chocolate over it, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
just kidding.
Disgusting.
I'm super into lemon stuff too.
I do not
Yes.
like. Okay.
So that's like the only time of year when you can get the chocolate covered lemon stuff from Russell Stover. So
if I was in a relationship with you, I would get that for you because I know how important it is.
would you buy like every box and then just make
Just-
me a whole box of the
Probably.
chocolate lemon? Yeah. See, that's romance
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
there.
that would
That
be.
is romantic.
It's like taking something basic like the chocolate thing and then like taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and then when you get the credit card statement, and it's like, why did you spend like $750 at Walgreens
right.
for the Stofers?
Right. Could you have not waited for the
Stovers.
day after Valentine's
Right.
and spent $350 or
I'll wait.
$325? Yeah.
I feel like Russell Stover's also they've got two big times of the year: Valentine's Day, Avi, but I feel like they're a heavy hitter around Christmas time.
Oh, for sure.
The huge packs, not the heart shaped. The huge squares that have like a treasure map to
Yes.
Figure out every-
where
Yeah.
the lemon is. Yeah, but Russell Stover's does come in hot with the heart shaped mystery candies. But I'm also a total Reese'ist, and I have
Yeah,
to
me
say,
too.
Reese's. If you put it in a heart, you put it in an egg, you put it in
Put
a
it
tree,
in a tree, put it in an Easter egg,
Yeah.
put it in a pumpkin. I don't
cup.
care.
For sure.
whatever. I'm gonna buy it and I'm
Yep.
gonna eat it. It's just gonna be like Taken. I will find you,
Yeah,
And I will eat
and I
you.
will eat you.
exactly.
So,
For sure.
but I do feel though that the egg is the most superior of all the Reese's because there's way more peanut butter in it.
There
For
is,
sure.
yeah.
So you're not fooling me.
I'm always disappointed with the tree. I feel like the tree is the smallest. Mm-hmm. And yeah,
The pumpkin's all right.
yeah.
yeah, but they keep it in the same size packaging. But then when you open, it's like a Charlie Brown tree of
Yeah.
Reese's.
It's
Yeah.
not.
They're like, we'll take the egg, but we'll just like cut some triangles out of the sides of it.
right.
To make it
Throw
a
them
tree.
away. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't need those. Oh, Alyssa's pouring me.
I know. I was hoping we'd
Breaking into the bitch.
I was trying
again.
not to.
give the sound
you go.
effect away. Thank you. Sean, do you want to hit this?
You want to hit this bitch?
I'm good. Once I had to unscrew the top, I was like, oh, that's a potent aroma. I think I'll stick.
Once I saw it was from 2008 and
Yeah.
it had a twist top, I was gonna have to hard
You
pass
obviously
on
don't appreciate a good vintage.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say I have to. I'd rather die, but I think we'd all be in agreement though when it comes to the least favorite candy.
Sorry.
What would you say the least favorite? Your least favorite Valentine's Day candy would be?
that. Specifically Valentine's Day. Oh, the little hearts.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
they're gross.
Yes.
I was gonna say we're definitely probably all in agreement of that.
They
You
just
eat
remind
them
me
if
of
you have to.
Tums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they should just really revamp. I feel like the hearts, the message hearts, they've always been around, and they revamped them. I feel in the '90s, but I don't think that they've revamped them really since then. Because like you'll still get a heart that says like "fax me," and I'm like,
Right.
good
Yeah.
lord,
Page me.
like
Yeah.
fax you? You mean I gotta go to the fucking library? Pay somebody.
Might as well send
15
it over on a
cents?
dinosaur.
Yeah,
right on top of that, Rose.
yeah. Carrier pigeon me. I'm just saying, dude. Like,
Pony Express me.
fax me. Get out of here. No, maybe that would be romantic. Like, oh my God, you sent me a fax.
I didn't even know I could get fax.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a fax machine here the whole time.
Western Union me.
Yeah. Fax
That I'll
me.
take.
Right. I had to go to Kroger to get this message.
Yeah.
Of cash.
This cash message. I sent you a cash fax. Yeah, the only fax I'm going to get is the car fax. You know what I'm saying? But say, fax me. Yeah, I got to go to the library. Fax you. What's
The
your
number.
Yeah. Do you have a fax machine? I don't think you do. Something tells me you don't. I can actually fax on this. I'm really into this new printer that I got.
You
but I can't fax
obviously
on
are.
this. So if anybody
Who knew?
does want to fax me, I'm not sure how that's going to happen. You can also email me. I feel like that's quicker, but you know,
Text.
fax.
How about text?
I'd rather you just send it in the mail.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
I'd wait-
I
certified
really
letter.
do like letters and stuff. Like I love Christmas time because I get all the Christmas cards and all the pictures and everything.
You
But
get
like,
to open a letter that's not a bill.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it is
exactly.
nice. Like to get letters or Valentines and cards and
The
stuff.
family Christmas letter. Or, yeah, newsletter.
Do you guys still buy Valentines? I'm sure you probably don't.
I don't.
Well, I've been thinking about starting it back up because
should.
I went to Aldi the other day, and you will never believe what type of Valentines they had on sale for $1.
Transformers?
99 cents.
Ninja Turtles.
WWE
WWE.
Oh, man.
called it.
It's just like Sasha Banks that says, "You're the boss, Valentine," or John Cena that's like, "Hustle, loyalty, and Valentine's Day," or whatever
that's
it is
great.
that John Cena's going to say about it. So, yeah.
Are you gonna mail them out or?
I'm just going to distribute them to my team at work.
Good.
Nice.
I like too that I noticed that the Valentine's Day boxes, they're like 16 Valentines included in this box, and I'm like, 16 Valentines? You'd have to buy 2 boxes just to give them out in your school.
Yeah,
Right?
in your one class.
Yeah, you're one class because we always had like 30 kids in our class. And it's like 16 Valentines. Who's got all the money for this?
And then do you remember too that when you were making out Valentines, there was always that one kid in your class who was like the bully or the kid that nobody liked, and then you had to give them a Valentine's Day anyway, and then you would come to school and all your friends would be like, "Did you give so and so a Valentine?" And you're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Ooh, somebody loves fill in the blank."
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But you always give them. There's also people that you're like passive aggressively like give the Valentine that's either like not
The
if you had
worst
a-
Valentine
yeah the
Yeah, the
worst one in the
shittiest
pack.
one.
There's some in the pack that are like awesome, and there's some that you're like
You just give them like
yeah
the
give them the
You give them the one that just says, Happy Valentine's Day.
There you go.
Exactly.
Biff or whatever the
Yeah.
bully's name
You
is.
definitely don't give them the I choose you.
Yeah, that's
Valentine.
true. I was thinking about I choose you before you guys came over today, and I was like, man, I wonder if I say that if anybody would get it. Leslie, you really knocked it out of the
I
park on that
did,
one.
yes. I'm like, come on, that's the most iconic Valentine's Day Valentine, like classroom Valentine ever.
Yeah.
I choose you.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Alyssa, that's
I
from
don't.
The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's from The
Oh.
Simpsons. Yes.
And,
Gosh, okay.
One of the kids got a Valentine that says "I choose
From Lisa.
you" from Lisa, and it had a train on it.
That's cute.
And
I
he
thought
read-
it had a train. I thought it might have been Thomas the Tank Engine or something. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Don't worry, he read a little too much into
He
it,
totally fell in love with her.
and it became a thing. So if you think
That is also like some mixed signals around Valentine's Day too. When it's like, I'm gonna give everybody a Valentine, but some people may take it a little bit more personally.
that's true,
Like when Andy gave Kelly the mixed message Valentine on The Office.
We're talking about The Office. I'm sorry.
I had to. I just had to see your face when I went way back again to The
Great.
Office. Yeah.
this is an office
Sean's like,
episode.
great.
Welcome
Yeah.
to.
We should do an Office episode at some point.
Apparently, I'm gonna have to beef up on my office.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I'm
Catch
saying?
up.
Catch up. Yeah, guys. So I wanted to play a game. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I feel that, we talked about some of our favorite movies. And like I said earlier in the episode, I want to have a definitive list that of romantic comedies that you guys should check out. I love rom-coms. Alyssa loves rom-coms. I know Leslie loves rom-coms. So here's how the game works. Okay. I had everybody assemble their list in order of their favorite romantic comedies, top 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around in a circle, clockwise, counterclockwise, who knows, okay? It's Valentine's Day.
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen here on the show. So, but we're going to go around and we're going to discuss our top 5. Now, say my top 5 is actually someone's number 3. We'll give a signal. Maybe we'll just say like, hold up, or something like that, We'll give a bwah, 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 bwah. You will know. And if that's the case, we will just hold off and we'll discuss it later when it comes up on someone else's list later on. So, but yeah, we're going to go around. We're going to talk about our favorites. We're going to have a little dialogue about each one. And then you will know which ones we like the best. And then at the end, we will argue to the death, Hunger Games style, over the top 5 and what is the definitive top 5 list just for you today, the listener. So fantastic. Now, first off, I'm going to start with some honorable mentions here.
Great. I've got,
And, maybe if some of these made your list, I don't know if they did or not. And we're also going to do our least favorites. So, a definitive number 1 on the least favorite. So, we're going to do some honorable mentions here. And I'm going to go ahead. I'll just kick it off. Leslie, Alyssa, we'll go clockwise.
Okay.
I know I was
Or
going to
will
change
we
it up
when
Yeah,
it
that's
comes
true.
to,
That's true. Yeah. So honorable mentions. My number 1 on my honorable mentions list, I felt like it didn't make it in my top 5. It's probably one of the most popular romantic comedies. I enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it enough personally for it to be in my personal top 5. When Harry Met Sally.
Yes, not in my top 5 either.
not in mine either.
I do enjoy it though. I'll have what she's having. What a great line.
That is, yes.
Rob
That's
Reiner.
really the only thing I really remember about that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, Rob Reiner can make a nice movie. You know what I'm saying? A nice heartfelt movie, And When Harry Met Sally, it was great. It was romantic. It's nice. Meg Ryan.
You gotta love Meg Ryan and
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Like,
Except this was Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
But you gotta love Meg Ryan and Tom
I
Hanks,
was
too.
thinking Sleepless in Seattle. I'm sorry. I get those mixed up a lot. Sleepless in
Yeah.
Seattle and Harry Met Sally because I
And You
feel
Got
like they
Mail.
were.
And You've Got Mail. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sorry.
But you gotta love Meg Ryan though.
Do
No
have
matter
to-
what movie
America's
she's in.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's on your honorable mentions list?
My honorable mention.
I can't believe you didn't get your list out. Oh,
What
man.
happened to
Oh, it's
my
right here.
list? Okay.
Okay.
Let's see
You
what I
wrote it
had.
down.
I did.
It's on the list. You can't change it now.
I had Clueless
Ah.
on my honorable mentions list.
Clueless, I love, but I didn't feel like it was really. I thought it was more of like a teen, like a high school teen comedy, like kind of like Mean Girls and like like Heathers and like
Yes.
stuff.
That's why
But she
it
does
didn't make
find
my
love
list either.
in the
that's true.
end.
Yes.
And well, I have 2 honorable mentions.
Oh, I
then.
have.
I have like 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have
okay.
a bunch.
Okay.
You're good.
What's on your honorable mentions list?
One of them is on my honorable mentions because I know it's going to be on your list, so I'm not even going to talk about it. The Wedding Singer. But my other
Hold up.
hold up, that's right. Okay, so this is mine, and we can discuss whatever because some of them are kind of what I think are a romantic comedy, but maybe other people might not. So, Chasing Amy. Love
Nice.
that. Her name's Alyssa in the movie, so it was like always
Of course.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
That's a great romantic comedy. It just by definition, you know what I'm saying? Like that really is like a comedy that it's crass as it can be. It's a comedy about a relationship.
And it's also like I do like the movies, which you'll see on my list, that where maybe they don't end up together, and it's still like a good romantic comedy story, but like they, it takes you somewhere different than that regular romantic comedy goes.
Yeah.
It adds the element of realism.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I don't know, fantasy or
Storybook
or
ending.
wish
Right.
fulfillment. Yes.
Right. It's still a great story. Definitely, you still get that satisfaction, but yeah. So Chasing Amy. Are we going around, or should I?
You want to take 2 turns? Like I said,
Oh,
we
sorry. I didn't know we were
can-
going around in honorable mentions.
Right.
Okay.
We
All right. Go for it.
can do whatever we want
Okay.
here. There is no
Perfect.
rules this Valentine's
All right,
Day.
great.
But you don't want to do 2?
I mean, I have 5.
Oh, I
so
do too.
okay.
Go ahead. What's
Okay.
something else on your list?
So I also have My Best Friend's Wedding, which is an honorable
yes.
Leslie
mention.
and I saw that in the movie theater.
We did
as
together.
kids. Yeah.
It's really great. I don't have any other. I don't think Julia Roberts movies on my top 5, even though which I know is like sacrilegious as far as rom-coms go. But My Best Friend's Wedding is probably my favorite one that she's in. There's just so many like good quote and Cameron Diaz, and it's a really good movie.
It is.
Something that's on my list. I don't think this is going to make it on anyone's list per se, but a great romantic comedy that I have is While You Were Sleeping.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So
That is Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock,
Yeah.
yes, and Peter Gallagher. And I hate Peter Gallagher's
His eyebrows.
Yeah,
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
insane. His
know.
eyebrows are next level. And then, of course, Bill Pullman, the unsung hero of 90s cinema, the poor man's Bill Paxton.
Really was. And I get them confused all the time. Even though I know their face, like totally different people.
Yeah,
but I can
totally.
never.
That's what happens in rom-coms. Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton, and then Dermot Mulroney
And Dylan
and
McDermott.
Dylan McDermott. It's like all rom-coms.
I still
know.
don't even know the difference between those two because they look too much alike.
Yeah.
They do.
That's what I don't like about them. They look
Dylan M's.
yeah,
Yeah.
They look too much alike. And I'm pretty sure Dermot Mulroney.
I can't even say that. Dermot
Mulroney.
Maroney. Okay.
Dylan McDermott. Oh,
Is in
boy.
Steel Magnolias.
Is in Steel Magnolias.
So we know him.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's in,
Yeah.
he's in The Miracle on 34th
It's the only
Street.
thing he's done. Steel Magnolias.
Yeah.
Hey, American Horror Story. First one.
Oh yeah.
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 I always remember him. Like, I always have to picture people. I'm like, okay, he's the one that is in The Miracle on 34th Street remake because he has such a huge part in that. I'm like, okay.
On the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. And then Dermot Mulroney is Dirty Steve from Young Guns. And he's in My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes.
So there you go. And I guess we can go through. I mean, I just have a couple other ones that made my list. Garden State.
Oh, yeah.
Made
I
my
didn't
list.
even think about that
I didn't necessarily
one.
feel it was so much of a comedy as much as it was romantic. There was some comedic parts in it.
Romantic quirky.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Eternal Sunshine. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that too, where it's like, oh, it's like a love story, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know so much comedy, but I feel like Garden State did set the tone for how to be hip for the next 15 years or so.
Had a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. So Beauty and the Breakdown, if that wasn't on your MySpace, then you were probably a loser.
That's right.
So
Definitely.
all right, well, let's hop right in. Or did you have any, actually, let's
Oh,
go
my-
through. 'cause
my
you had a
last-
Your
couple more.
honorable mentions.
My
yeah.
last honorable mention that I had was Crazy Stupid Love with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Nice. I've not seen that.
You haven't?
No, I
It's
haven't.
Steve Carell too,
And
right?
Steve Carell from The Office.
Oh, great. Is this just going to be like, okay, so I love this movie with
Because everyone on our list.
Steve Carell, and I love this one.
No, that one is actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Hangover. Just
Right.
with cast members from The Office.
Ed Helms.
Yeah.
Ed Holmes coming in hot. Rainn Wilson.
I promise I don't have any other Office related material
Okay.
to talk about.
All right.
I have two more honorable mentions. I'm sorry, I got really into this
All
today.
right, yeah.
Just to kind of Sweet Home Alabama. Mm-hmm. Reese Witherspoon. It's not Dylan McDermott or Dermot. No, it's McDreamy. McDreamy
yes.
is the guy that's in it, and there's like a poor man's Matthew McConaughey in it. I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name either. Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Spice.
my last one of honorable mentions is Shallow Hal.
Oh, that's another great one.
Because I think that's like it's a good comedy, but it is a love story.
Yes.
and it has a great message.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So
That's a great choice.
And who doesn't love Jack Black?
I
yeah.
know. So good.
He's such an endearing character just all the time. I just watched him in Jumanji. He's
Did
great
you?
in Jumanji.
I want to see that.
He just did an episode of Good Mythical Morning where he's just like singing, and I'm like, man, what a really nice guy. I would really like to hang out with you.
Adam and I just watched a movie on Netflix where he was playing, and it's a true story where he's the Polka King.
Yeah,
That
I've
was-
heard about this.
It was so good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
how
about it.
He had like a whole investment like scheme going on with people who loved his polka music and everything like that. And he doesn't die or whatever, but
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
So you probably won't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, well, let's kick it off, guys.
Okay.
Sean versus Wild, official top 5 list in the making. We're going to kick it off. I want to kick it off with my number 5. And my number 5, you probably heard me talk about this on a different episode. I'm talking about the Christmas episode. Number 5, Just Friends.
That is one of your all's favorites.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I know, it's kind of a Christmas movie, but I feel it's definitely
Christmas-ish.
Christmas-ish, but it's a great romantic comedy. I know we talked so much about it on the Christmas episode. Not a lot that we need to talk about here, but Ryan Reynolds.
Childhood friends or high school friends.
Yep, Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart, childhood friends. Ryan Reynolds is a great big fat person, as Buffalo Bill from
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs would say.
Wait.
Was she a great big fat person? But yeah, so Ryan Reynolds in love with Amy Smart, and he is humiliated and goes off to Hollywood and becomes a big time player, and comes back for Christmas, not on his own volition because of happenstance and circumstance, and tries to win her over, and he's a big douchebag.
Right. Total douche.
So, and then true love has to find a way, or
Through
what have you.
Dusty Dinkelman.
Dusty, simply Dusty.
Is there any other kind?
Is there any other kind? Whose ham did you slay?
Not the ham I just bought.
Yes, perfect. So my number 5, Just Friends.
That's like a good. I mean, I haven't seen that movie in a really long time. I wish I knew it
It's
better.
great.
But yeah, that seems like a good number 5.
It's a great one. Mm-hmm. All
Okay.
right, Leslie, hit us with it.
My number 5. I mean, totally going to be obvious. Pretty Woman
okay.
and
Hold
romantic.
up.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
We will get
get
to
there.
that later on
Okay,
in
well,
this segment.
I was
All
gonna
right.
put Pretty Woman on my list somewhere, but I was like, no, it's
It's
you
just-
know, it isn't kind of an honorable mention for me, but
Okay.
we'll get to it.
Yeah. I just feel like because I grew up watching
Oh,
it
yeah.
so much.
And I was like making my list, and I was like, how many of these are going to include sex workers? I don't know. You know,
Maybe
you never
all
know.
of them. Yeah. Could happen.
Holy
Great love
shit.
story.
All right. Well, then we're going to have to go on to Alyssa then.
Okay, all right. My number 5 is starring Drew Barrymore. Never Been Kissed.
Oh,
Brr,
nice.
brr, brr, brr.
Oh, that's
my-
on your list.
uh-huh,
Okay,
that's
all
my
right.
interjection
Okay,
sound.
All right, we'll
Uh-huh.
go back to Sean though for number 4.
Jeez, Josie Grossi.
Mm-hmm.
Coming
I'm
in
not
hot.
Josie Grossi anymore.
That's right.
Oh my God. I feel like when you just got to talk out of the side
Sorry.
of
Well,
your...
absolutely, you do.
Yeah.
What other way are you Drew Barrymore than?
That's true. Oh, let's see. I was actually keeping some notes here as far
Okay,
as where we
good.
go. Number 4, I guarantee you this is not on anyone's list. Love this movie. I've seen this movie 100,000 times. One of probably the most seen movies I've ever watched.
I might have this on my list.
Number 4, Son-in-Law.
Not on my
Not on
list,
my list, but I love that.
so accurate.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Son-in-Law. I've seen it a million times. I feel like that the movie has, probably it came out in like 93, and I would say by November of 1993, it was on Showtime, and it just has never been off the air.
Right.
Ever
That was
since
your
then.
Showtime free trial movie that
Yeah.
they played 8 times a day to show you how good it was.
And I feel like it's still on. Like, I know that they play it on CMT all the time.
It comes on every Thanksgiving Day. Have you noticed that?
No.
That is like a Thanksgiving Day staple. is Son-in-Law.
It's going to be now for
Well,
me,
why wouldn't it
for
be? 'Cause
sure.
you just have to, chill and munch on some grindage. So
I love that Chica's in it. Chica from Troop Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
her, like, grown up, even though it was only like 4 years later
Yeah.
from the movies. I don't know how she grew up that much.
Carla Cugino.
Yeah.
Who has just really blossomed into a total, she's just great.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. What was the new game movie she was on Netflix recently?
I'm not sure.
It's a Stephen King movie. And
Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game.
Yeah, she was in
Yes.
that. It was really good.
The moment I realized that, like, I just was in love with this woman was when I saw her in Sin City. And she just killed it. Mm-hmm. She's great. Love Carla Cugino. Cugino? Cugino.
I think it's
I'm not sure.
Cugino.
It starts with this cuss sound or a gus sound.
and ends in the
Gus.
Eno sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like it.
Exactly. So if you're quoting me on this, guys, if you're sitting around like taking dictation, don't quote me on that. We'll figure out her last name. But yeah, she's great.
Son-in-law. That's a really good
Becca.
choice. Why did
Becca.
you? What do you love the most about that movie?
Well, I just think that it really is a great comedy. Lane Smith as the father, fantastic. Of course, Pauly Shore. This was when the Weasel was in full effect, the height of his
MTV
career.
mode.
Yes, exactly. He had the long hair. He
Weasel.
grew the dick, guzzled some bread.
Got you some weaselware.
Yeah. Why did you do that? And then that movie too, it like had a special magic whenever I first saw it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is Kelly Kapowski in a role that isn't Kelly Kapowski. Like it's the first time, because she wasn't on 90210 by then, and she wasn't doing all this other stuff. I was like, oh man, she's in this movie, and she's not. Tiffany Amber Thiessen is not Kelly Kapowski in this movie.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
Bad girl.
and Steve, what a bully.
Yeah.
I thought her boyfriend's name was Travis.
Travis, I said Steve, but
Get
yes,
it
Travis.
together.
Travis,
What kind of
Steve,
fan are you?
I was thinking of Steve from 90210.
Oh,
Probably. But yeah,
classic mix-up.
classic. Yeah, Travis. But yeah, so hey, good down home cooking people. Cool. Just making it happen. All right, Leslie, hit me.
Okay,
Number 4.
number 4 was it was going to be Never Been Kissed, but
So your number 4 is Never Been Kissed. Now it's time for us to
Wow.
talk
I
about
love-
it.
Okay.
This is the part in the segment where we talk about it. So what did you like about Never Been Kissed? Why did you put that on your list?
well, on my way over here, I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, well, it's weird now because she kind of fell in love with her teacher, and her teacher kind of fell in love with her in being 17. But I think I loved it because, in
It was
high
all
school,
a misunderstanding.
in high school, she was nerdy and she was Josie Grossi, and she had never had her first real kiss before. And then at the end of the movie, she's standing on the ball field and, counting
I
down.
have goosebumps now. Already.
Yeah, and the time runs out, and everybody you can see everybody's face in the audience, and they're just so sad. And then he comes running out of
Yeah.
from under the bleachers. He just made it. He was gonna move away, but gave her first real kiss on the ball
Yes.
field.
And it's like a great story, not only a love story, but like it's a great story of redemption almost, where, you know, she was in high school. She never really had like a bad disposition or anything. She was always seemed like really optimistic and stuff, you know, even older. When she's in high school, she's got teased a lot and stuff. And like, I think everybody can kind of relate to, you know, feeling like they didn't fit in or something. So like someone else in this movie, Drew Barrymore, getting to quote unquote go back to high school and like relive that and be in the popular group and then fall in love. It's just it's a great story.
Yeah, who wouldn't love to do that? Like, just if you had the chance to go back and just kind of relive some of that stuff and all the things you would do differently, and you know,
For sure.
and then of course, you know, David Arquette's just like macking on high school chicks.
Yeah,
and, like,
that part's kind of creepy a
he's
little
like,
bit.
I went back to high school too, and I'm like captain of the baseball team.
Yeah. Put me in, coach. Yeah. He's getting a scholarship. Isn't that what he said? Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're 35.
Yeah.
Working at
No
the
wonder-
photo hut. Like,
No wonder you're so good at baseball. You are twice these children's age.
you know how to buy roids. Like, come on.
You're on the juice. You're the Mark McGuire of high school here. But yeah,
So-
and the common denominators. Who doesn't love the common denominators too? What a great team. Mathletes.
Mathletes.
All right. Alyssa, what is on your number 4?
Oh gosh, okay. It is starring Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt, What Women Want.
Oh, what
Oh,
women
wow.
want.
Yes.
Okay, one of my favorite rom-coms, highly underrated.
For sure.
And there's a lot of things like I don't like Mel Gibson in, but for whatever reason, this movie I really love. Set in Chicago. I'm pretty sure it's in Chicago. You know, he's got the deal with his daughter and his ex-wife, and he's trying to like manage all that. And then he gets the gift of like hearing everything women think. And I just loved that movie you know.
right.
How
yes.
accurate would you say that movie is to what women actually want and how they really think?
Well, to those women, pretty damn accurate because he was hearing their literal thoughts.
He was literally
so. So I think it's pretty accurate. But you know, that's just the kind of story of like the misogynistic, like player boy, you know, getting a chance to see it from the women's side. You know, Marissa Tomei's in it. She's really great. They have like a sexual relationship, and she eventually is like, you know, he knows everything that I'm thinking and everything's great, and he has to pretend like he's gay to her
Right.
because he
Yes.
doesn't want to be with her because he wants to be with Helen Hunt. But she's like, please don't, I don't want to be crazy. Just tell me. And he's like, I'm gay. And she's like, oh, thank God. You know, the whole movie is really, really good. I like it a
These
lot.
are some great answers.
I know. These are great.
Yeah.
Some ones that I just never thought of.
Yeah,
or
me
thought
too.
about. But that's the thing. We're going to make the definitive list.
right.
Cool.
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 All right.
Number 3 for me, the time has come to speak about The Wedding Singer.
That was one of
Yes.
our honorable mentions. I knew it was going to be on your list.
Yes. So
Can
number
you-
3 on my list, The Wedding Singer, Robbie Hart.
Oh, the best.
I love that line. It's like, you know who I think sexy? Robbie Hart. And then she just like shoves a French fry in his mouth. He's like, yeah, that's a good
That
fry.
movie
Yeah.
is the most, has the best quotes, best songs.
Yes.
Just, it's great.
I love everything about it. The fashion, obviously, the time frame, the setting, the soundtrack is fantastic. The characters are great. You know, Robbie Hart's such a likable guy, such a charismatic guy.
He is.
You're a bitch.
Get on my Van Halen t-shirt for you jinx the band.
And you know, I
Breakup.
can never hear Holiday by Madonna on
Me
the radio
either.
without just being like, Holiday, celebrate.
I live in my sister's basement.
I can never not hear that now. It has ruined it for me. Not ruined it, but you know.
He's losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
It's great. I
Yeah.
love so many good quotable moments in that movie. All the characters. I mean, it's just like boom, boom, boom. It just hits you. It's like really good comedic timing in there, but like the romance story of like Drew Barrymore being with the guy that's
Glenn
not right
Guglia.
for her.
Yeah.
Julia
Guglia.
Guglia. And ended up getting with Robbie in the end. It's
Yes.
great.
And one of my favorite, you know, you're talking about that scene, another Drew Barrymore movie, I've Never Been Kissed, whenever it's like, you know, you can feel like the palpable romance.
Yeah.
Whenever, she's on the ball field and he comes out. That's the way I feel whenever he plays the song and you actually see her reaction and she's like overwhelmed
On the airplane?
On the airplane,
by
yes.
sincere emotion, and she's happy, but she's also crying, and like that was like really cool. So, and then of course Billy Idol.
Well, of course.
Chicken or fish. You can't talk to Billy Idol that way. So yeah, it's
They
like,
were cones.
they'll rip your heart out of your ass. Sorry, I used to be much stronger.
The movie is. I knew you were gonna. We've always connected on The Wedding Singer of loving it so much. So I thought it was gonna be higher up on your list, to be honest.
I put it at number 3.
It was number 3 on. Was it number 3 on mine?
I don't know. It's time for your number 3.
Yeah. It was number 3 on mine.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Yeah.
All right.
So we matched.
Perfect.
Number
We
3.
matched. Yes, The Wedding Singer coming in hot here. And then, Alyssa, what is your third choice?
Mine is one I feel like I've mentioned it to a lot of people, and not a lot of people have seen it. But it's called The Wedding Date.
The Wedding
With
Date.
J-Lo?
No,
Oh,
it
okay.
has. I think it's The
That's
Wedding
up-
Planner.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There's so many.
Or Made in
wedding-
Manhattan, or a lot
Or-
of those J-Lo
yeah.
movies. But The Wedding Date is Deborah Messing and Dermot Mulroney.
Damn,
And
with the Dermots.
yeah,
Man.
so it's a really great
You must
story.
be really sweet on Dermot Mulroney.
I kind of am. I think that's who it is. Yeah. So he's got the scar on his lip.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say, he's the one with the scar on his lip.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
didn't want to sound insensitive. It's
I just
Valentine's
went
Day,
for it.
for fuck's sake.
So she is going to her sister's wedding. So it's called The Wedding Date. She's going to her sister's wedding in London. Her family lives in London. She lives in New York, Deborah Messing. And she read this article in a magazine about hiring a male escort. So she hires this like male escort gigolo guy, and it's Dermot Mulroney, to just be her wedding date. That's it. Goes to London with her. It's his whole job. He's like super rich because apparently he's very good at his job, which you learn throughout the movie. He's like super romantic and
Cool
like
Brad.
a lot of like charisma. So they go to London and they do all the wedding stuff for her sister's wedding, and like drama ensues, whatever, blah blah blah. But it's like that thing of kind of like Pretty Woman, where it's like starts off as a business transaction and then they actually kind of like do fall in love. So one of those like against the odds kind of.
So you can knock the second sex worker movie off your
yeah,
list.
that's what I said. I have
Right.
so many sex worker movies on.
I like too when you were describing it and you accidentally touched the mics, like the bass dropped. It was like, and you're like, yeah, dude, that is a key point of the movie. You were right.
It is really good. Like set in London, and Amy Adams is in it, and it has a lot of good. I mean, it's a really good rom-com where she doesn't want to be with him because she feels like it goes against her morals because he's a sex worker, but he, they fall in love anyway. Great story.
Nice.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna have to Netflix that
We'll
one
have to
this
check
weekend.
out The Wedding Date.
The
Yep.
Wedding Date. Yes.
So if you like Pretty Woman, you're going to love The Wedding Date. And speaking of that, my number 2, Pretty Woman.
See, there we go. That was my number 5.
Oh, yeah. So now the time has come for us to veg out and talk about Pretty Woman.
Okay, for
Still
sure.
like vegetables? Lay like broccoli? I always hated that line, but I do remember it. Wilsh, Bev, or what did she say?
Reed,
Bev,
Will.
Yes.
Send a fucking Rella. That's the most memorable line of the whole movie.
The room was bigger than the blue banana. Oh, man. Pretty Woman. Love this movie. Love the soundtrack specifically to this movie.
Opening song for sure.
Hashtag iconic.
Yeah.
Everything about the whole movie.
Yeah. Go West, King of Wishful Thinking. Fantastic. One of my all-time favorites, and it's because of this movie. The soundtrack is loaded with some awesome stuff. But again, Los Angeles in the early 90s, I feel like is another kind of iconic time and place.
For sure.
So the fashion.
It's a Lotus Esprit.
Yeah. This thing was cornered like it's on rails. What does that mean? Standard H.
Standard H.
And then, again, it's just, she's in need of rescuing and he rescues her right back.
Which, by the way, I feel like is the worst
Yeah, it's a
line.
It's a way to tie a bow on that movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on. You could have done so much better
Yeah.
ending this movie as the last line.
But yeah, Julia Roberts is so, I don't know. She's just electric when she's on screen. And I love her hair, her big red curly
her
hair.
big red hair.
My
for
dream.
sure.
Wish I could do that. I can never pull it off though.
But when she decided to straighten her hair and go blonde, I feel like she lost a little bit of the electricity that she had. A little of kind of like when Jennifer Grey got that nose job, and it was just like
People were like, "Who are you?"
yeah, exactly. So, but you know,
Big mistake.
Huge. Yeah.
yes, and I just love Viv. And what else is there to say about Pretty Woman? It's fantastic.
It is.
The dress in the beginning with it is very iconic as
Oh,
well.
for sure.
Like many a Halloween costume of
yes.
many a lady in
Your white tank top into your sky blue
circle.
skirt.
Yes, with the circle in the middle and the I've got to run in my pantyhose. I'm not wearing pantyhose. You know, it's just like everything about the whole movie is iconic.
Close your mouth, dear.
My favorite line in Pretty Woman, I just love it whenever she just like goes, "Holy shit!" It's so great. Over $3,000.
I know, right?
6 days, nights to $3,000.
Has anyone done the math on that though?
I can do the math.
3,000 divided by
Well, what's the also what year was it?
1991.
okay.
Or
$3,000.
1990, 1991. It's early 90s.
How many days was it?
6 days.
6 days.
Even
So-
just the amount of money of $3,000 in 1990.
Yeah, you could have bought a car.
Yeah, here's an
really good
I tend
used
to look
car.
at inflation calculators just to see kind of like
To
what
see-
money was then
Just
to
to
what
see
it is
how,
now.
how much money I'll have when my time machine,
Yeah.
when my theory.
Well, it wouldn't actually be that much. It would only be like 5,600 now in 2017.
So
Still
six
a lot of
da-
money for 6 days. You know, almost
So,
$1,000 a
the
day.
equivalent of $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't seem like that much. For
I
a
like
hooker.
to.
Yeah,
It's-
but he
it's
wasn't
6
like
days.
ugly either.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, if they're good looking, you're not going to
It's
get
cheaper.
the top dollar. Yeah.
Right. It is
cheaper.
cheaper. Yeah.
We kind
If
of
you're
remember-
gross, you're going to have to pay more.
Yeah. 75 for you and $395 for your friend.
Exactly. That's what we've all learned from Pretty Woman.
I think that's actually a line from Saving Silverman. I think they try to pick up prostitutes for like a scheme that they
It's
have.
another Jack Black.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's Steve Zahn and Jack Black,
Yeah.
and the lady was like 35 for you and 175 for your friend. Like, deal. So anyway, Pretty Woman, number 2 on my list. Number
Nice.
2 on yours.
Number 2 on mine, Mermaids.
Mermaids,
Aw.
making
Yes.
it on the list. We were just watching it earlier.
Just watching it, and
I'm
just
your mother.
I'm your mother.
Fear.
Just a great. I was telling Alyssa because she hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
A story about Cher and Winona Ryder and her, like, what is she, like 15, 16?
Yeah.
Christina Ricci's like 6 maybe. And they move from town to town whenever Cher or Mrs. Flax, every
Yeah.
time a boyfriend breaks up with her, she can't stand to stay in the same place. So they move everywhere. And then Winona Ryder gets, I guess, her first crush on.
And Winona Ryder's so quirky. It's a Jewish family, but she's just like a diehard Catholic.
Yeah, she wants to be a diehard Catholic.
And she's so conflicted and confused, not
With-
only with
religion and being attracted and having her first crush on somebody. And
just her
How does the
upbringing.
story end up? That's what I want to know. I haven't seen this. So I'm
it's
like,
one
does
of
she
those
fall in
movies
love?
that don't end in like a storybook.
Okay, I
kind of
like those
romance
movies, so I probably
setting.
would really
Yeah.
like that one.
And Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins
very
in it.
charismatic. I feel Bob Hoskins whenever he does an American accent.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes when he's just like normal Bob Hoskins with a real thick British accent, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I'll let it slide.
You're not even acting.
Yeah, so that
Jeez.
Bob Hoskins is Cher's love interest,
Yes,
and they have
Lou.
their own problems too
Yeah.
in the movie. But if you don't like the typical fairy tale, everybody ends up together ending, that is such a good movie.
That's a great choice. I'm definitely watching it.
Yes, it's on Hulu right now.
Oh, it is.
great.
Yes, and that's
Go
where
home,
we're watching
put
it
that
from.
on there. Yep.
Okay.
So, and also I just got to give a big shout out to whoever casted that movie, because Cher and her daughter being Winona Ryder and her other daughter being Christina Ricci.
It's like perfect.
That's
Yes,
perfect casting.
they all look like they would be family.
Yeah. So the perfect.
And Jake
cast.
Ryan from Pretty in Pink is
Yes.
I was
Winona
surprised
Ryder's crush.
none of us had any like 16 Candles or Pretty in Pink. I really thought that would be like,
Well,
Or maybe it
still
was
have
16 Candles,
Solo.
right? Yeah, we still have a
might
number
still
one.
have- okay, all right, my bad.
MBD.
No big deal.
We'll get there.
All
Okay.
right, Alyssa, show us your number 2.
All right. Well,
You asked for it.
that's right. My number 2 is another one of those unconventional, don't end up together type of rom-coms, and it's The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn.
Certainly sounds like the opposite of romance.
Yeah,
Right, yes.
But it is a really great romantic comedy. Anything for me personally with Vince Vaughn, I love.
Right.
Just like can't get enough of him. I think he's hilarious. So
It's
Vince
his
Vaughn-
delivery.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
his-
It's his. He has the beat. It's like you can tell when a joke's coming, and it's like bump and a bump and a bump, and there's a joke. You know,
Yep.
and you know it, and you can kind of see it coming. So it feels familiar. You know, I like him, and Jennifer Aniston is really really good too. It has some other characters. John Favreau's in it, like one of my favorite. He's like, I'll leave you a key. You know, at the,
I can see
at
he's
the
like,
movie,
yeah, I
he's
got
like,
some friends that are
he's like,
Polish.
yeah, make some calls tonight around 10. Okay, like
What is it? Yeah, I'll call up some Polacks that
Yeah.
don't give a shit about their
they don't
life.
have a goddamn future.
Yeah.
So that movie, they don't end up together. It does, which is really cool. It has like alternate endings. If you have the DVD
Oh, nice.
edition, there's like a couple different endings you could choose
There's
from
like
for the
an
movie,
ending
which
where
is
they just
cool.
pass each other on the street, right?
Yes, I think that's the main ending.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's like other alternate ones or whatever
Come.
on the kick drum.
Come on the kick drum. Come. Yeah.
It's just, it's got never take it. What does he say? Some kind of like toning thing out of a man's hand, like
Yeah.
because he's like
A
in an
pitch
acapella.
pipe.
Yeah, pitch pipe out of a man's hand. He's in the middle of a funky groove.
Yeah. I love that. Come.
Yes.
Come.
Jon Favreau, by the way, I don't know if you know this, director of Iron Man, but also directed Elf.
Really?
Yeah, that's a fun fact for you about Jon Favreau.
Oh.
But I do like The Breakup. And Vince Vaughn's delivery is great, especially in, not to get off topic of The Breakup, but a great example of his delivery is in Wedding Crashers.
Which could have been a total rom-com
Yeah.
on our list.
Yeah.
And we'll never know because we have a few left.
Okay.
We have number
That's
ones left, so
true.
maybe it'll
That
pop
is
up,
true.
guys. Hi-yo. But whenever he's just like, Owen Wilson's like, what's the matter? Is the pillow too soft? And he's like, yeah, it could have been the soft pillow. Could have been the nude gay art show. Or he's like, yeah, it could have been the soft
Midnight
pillow.
Rape.
Could have been the Midnight Rape or the nude gay art show that took place in my room about 4 a.m.
It's Vince
It
Vaughn's
is.
like delivery really gets you that comedy, but no matter who Vince Vaughn, his love interest is in a movie, it's just always believable to me because he is a regular looking guy.
Right.
He's not like some kind of
Over the
Brad
top
Pitt, you know.
Hollywood, yeah.
He's a regular guy. He's funny. He relies more on his like comedy and his like sweetness and stuff versus like I'm just a guy with looks and money or like
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Like he really woos the girl. So in him and Jennifer Aniston, the breakup, you love them as a couple, and then
Yeah.
time takes its toll, I guess.
And then the breakup.
And then the breakup
Right.
happens. Spoiler alert.
All right, guys, we are down to our number 1 picks.
Everybody report to the dance floor.
Let's see what is going down here. All right, listeners, my number 1 romantic comedy of all time, The Other Sister.
Oh, I love that movie.
How did I not even
believe we didn't
think
put that.
I know.
I know.
Wow.
It's a great love story.
What a fantastic love story. The Other Sister, for anybody that has not seen it, basically it is about Juliette Lewis, who is has a mental disorder, I guess you would say.
Disability. She's,
Disability.
yeah, disability.
And
We never really find out what it is
what it
in
is
the
per
movie.
se. Yeah. So she has some sort of mental disability, and she's coming home from her special school, and she's moving back into the house that she grew up in with an overprotective mother and
Diane Keaton.
And a loving father, Tom Skerritt.
Perfect.
Who doesn't
dad.
love Tom
Mom and
Skerritt?
dad. That's my mom and dad.
I know,
Like in my
right?
brain. They're perfect.
And then she just experiences life for the first time, really. Real life for the first time, and she makes mistakes, and
She wants to go to community college.
She wants to go to community college. So
Little did she know she was going to fall in love.
she's
I
going to
know.
meet the love of her life.
She was.
Daniel McMahon, Giovanni Ribisi's
Yes.
character. Giovanni Ribisi is a fantastic, very underrated actor.
Totally.
And he nails it. And really, once you watch, it's so funny because when you watch Juliette Lewis or Giovanni Ribisi in later movies, you can kind of still see the characteristics of Carla Tate and Daniel McMahon.
Daniel McMahon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and they fall in love. They have a cute relationship. Things happen. Drama ensues.
There's a lot of drama in it actually between their relationship of, it was kind of like, I feel like a risky thing as far as putting out the movie with these two disabled people and they fall in love. But I think it is really important to have movies out there that, represent different types of love and different things, like issues that they could have. So these two, quote unquote, disabled people fall in love with each other and maybe their families don't want them to be together or, whatever the issue is between the two. It's a really good love story.
But it's handled well because it's not so much that the families don't want them to be together. It's just like the families are protective or her family's protective. They're scared for her. They don't want to kind of let her off the...
They wonder how he's going to take care of her and... Yeah.
And it's just great. And they fall in love. And and the big scene for me in it is the one that overwhelms with palpable romance is just whenever he fails his class and she's there.
Yes.
She passed.
And she was so excited that she passed. And you kind of have that super happy moment for her. And then it all goes away when and then he's devastated.
And that's when I feel like their relationship really takes off. And of course, they're in Halloween costume.
Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
What a great movie.
She was a swan and he was the dog, right?
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Don't worry, I'm house trained.
Up and down, not round and round.
I just love that he takes her on their first date to like the bus depot.
Tids and bits.
For free tids and bits. Yes. For lunch.
She's
like
just
a snack.
Meatballs and
like cocktail weenies and like cheese and
so cute.
I
he
know.
loves to go to the bus station. He loves the bus.
That is so
he can go
adorable.
see his marching bands.
But that really is, I think, like as far as like a romantic comedy for everybody, like no matter, everybody has certain things that they like that are about them, that if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody and you're going to fall in love with them, you're going to love those things that they love.
Yeah.
So like the fact that he loves the marching bands and the fact that, they really do, it's a pure, innocent love story. That's great. So I didn't even think of that one, Sean. You're awesome.
You are a genius.
Nailed it. All right, Leslie.
Okay. My number one is a movie that Sean, you and I have seen probably. This is probably the most watched movie, I would say, between us growing up. Not cartoon wise, but and people don't maybe think of it as a romantic comedy, but it certainly is. My number one, Coming to America.
Oh, yes.
Love that movie.
Coming to
That's
America,
great.
easily my favorite comedy of all time.
And Eddie Murphy, in Arsenio Hall, leave Africa so he can come and find his queen to be, like in America.
She's your queen.
I'm like, we all had to harmonize on that one.
We can't.
Yes. James Earl Jones is in it.
It's amazing.
Samuel Jackson.
Yep.
Dude. Dottie, get it. McDowell's.
McDowell's.
And this is like the first movie, I think, where like Arsenio and Eddie Murphy are just taking on a bunch of different characters.
Yeah.
With different roles and stuff. Now, Eddie Murphy will become famous for doing that later on, but I love that movie. Prince
So good.
Akeem
Yes.
is betrothed to a woman that he doesn't know, and it's been arranged by his family since birth. And he meets her
On his 21st birthday.
on his 21st birthday. They have a wedding. And, they meet, they get married, they're about to get married, and he decides, hey, look, I want to be my own man. Allow me 40 days to go off and find my true bride.
And let me go to the University of the United States.
Yes.
To the university. It is small. We don't even have a basketball team.
Who was
find
that?
my bride.
Oh, just some guy I met in the restroom.
I had some pocket change.
That movie is, I watch it pretty regularly.
Do you?
I feel like, it's not like, I mean, even though I guess technically it's like there's snow, it's not Christmas though, is it?
No.
Doesn't it have
No,
a
it's
Christmas
just
party or
winter.
something?
Winter in New York.
In New York.
Yeah, winter in New York, kind of give you that feel. But it's just a great comedy, like, romantic comedy, I guess, for any time of the year. Definitely. I didn't even think of that one to put that one on the list.
Oh, yeah.
They
And
have get off the island.
that's one of my favorite parts.
I love the Lord.
Oh my God.
Never know what is wrong. I don't want to be right.
Yeah, timeless comedy.
yes,
for sure.
so-
Sexy chocolate. Fantastic. Coming to
great.
America.
This boy's good.
Damn, that boy. Yeah, good and terrible.
Good and terrible.
Donations. Oh, man, I thought it was a trash. Fantastic.
That's great.
All right, Alyssa,
Did you write that one down?
I've written it down.
Okay.
It's
All right.
on the list.
Okay.
Let me get my. I already know what it is.
Drum roll,
Okay, so
please.
my number one favorite romantic comedy of all time. It's probably kind of basic, but I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Number one on the
It
list.
is an epic romantic comedy set in New York City. Mm-hmm. Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's set in New York City. And space.
It's great. So the way I tried to come up with my number one was I love all of my top five, but my number one is if I had to live in a romantic comedy movie, this would be the one that would like really be the ultimate epitome. And Andy Anderson, How To Girl in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like I just loved her character. I love that like she was like this like kind of like free spirit girl that, you know, she wasn't really interested in dating, but then she finds this guy, she has to write this story. It's just a great movie. Like I love the story itself of both of them kind of having their own kind of mission that's thinking that they're gonna like pull one over.
I'm trying
on
to
each
remember
other.
what was his mission. He made a bet with his friends, right?
He made a bet with his boss.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he made a bet with his boss because he is in marketing that he could make a woman fall in love with him in 10 days to sell these
Gotcha.
diamonds or whatever.
Oh, that's
so
right.
he can make a woman fall in love with him in a week, and she could do all the things wrong to make a guy break up with her in a week. So they're each kind of have their own thing going about. But, you know, if you really do love somebody, which is what the story tells you, that you'll look past all those things and, like, really love each other. Mm-hmm. So I love that because she's a writer and she's in anything that's, like, set in New York automatically. Like, my heartstrings are like, oh, you know. But she's a writer. He's in marketing. They're, like, not supposed to be, you know, end up together, but they do. So it's a really great story.
There you go.
How to Lose a Guy in 10
In
days.
10 days.
Yep.
10 days.
Why 10?
Why 10?
7's not long enough, and we go to press an 11. So
Oh, we're going to press an 11. Fantastic. All right. Well, the tribe has spoken here. You have heard quite a few picks in a top five. Now, it's time for us, again, to argue and fight our way to the five definitive. Now, taking out all the redundancies, here are the movies that we'll have to choose from. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list, and some of these, let's just go ahead and talk about them. Do you think this will make the top five? We can always just maybe agree to not have them. But number 5, top of the list, Just Friends. Do you think that would make the top 5, the ultimate top 5 list?
I don't know because it falls into other categories as well.
You know what though? I feel like that would be on the top 5 Christmas list.
Yes.
Romantic comedies. Let's go ahead and just we could probably agree that might not make the cut for the top 5.
Okay.
Now we have a few on here that have been. We have Pretty Woman, Never Been Kissed, and The Wedding Singer that were.
That we've all agreed on.
I'm thinking
right?
that's probably like a good top 3
Yeah.
to go off of those 3, but maybe what order? I don't know.
Well, let's just say we'll put them in here. So
Okay.
we'll have Pretty Woman, Wedding Singer, and Never Been Kissed. What about let's say What Women Want, The Wedding Date, Mermaids, The Breakup, The Other Sister, Coming to America,
Gosh, those are all so good.
and How to Lose a Guy
They
in 10
are.
Days.
I definitely think that the other sister has to be on there because Sean mentioned it and we both like.
I
flipped
love
our-
that movie. Can't believe
Yes.
I didn't even
I
think of
can't
it, but it's
believe
a
I
great
didn't
love story.
either.
Yeah, definitely in top 5.
Yeah, I love that movie. Obviously, it's my number 1. It's Son-in-Law also.
Oh, we forgot
yeah.
about son-in-law.
Yeah, so that's what we're basically left with here. Once we've taken those out, we've got Son-in-Law, What Women Want, The Wedding Date, Mermaids, The Breakup, Coming to America, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Well, we really only have 2 spots left to fill, right?
We have
'Cause our
one
top-
spot left to fill.
We have 1 spot
Wow.
left to fill.
Wow.
I was going to go with the breakup.
Yeah, I
in
like
that
the breakup.
spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
good for
I think
me.
that's good for anybody, because even if you're in love or you've like gone through a breakup and you're not, currently in love, it's still a good story that appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
And it has alternate endings too.
Fantastic.
Can't be-
And it's got
yeah.
come. Come on the kick drum. Okay.
Exactly.
And then let us now fight over what order does this need to go into? Pretty Woman, Wedding Singer, Never Been Kissed, The Other Sister, and The Breakup.
Oh gosh, they're all so
I
great.
know. I know. They are so good.
I'm thinking Pretty Woman probably has to be number one. I think it's like the most iconic
I would say
in
it's
pop culture.
iconic, yes.
Yeah,
Would you say that would
iconically.
go over The Other Sister?
I would think that Pretty Woman would be number 5, only because it's been there for so long. Everybody knows it.
Okay.
And you think
That makes sense.
Pretty Woman would be over, say, The Breakup or The Wedding Singer?
No, I would say Pretty Woman would need to be number 5.
Number 5. Yeah. That makes more sense because it's one of those things where no matter what, it stands the test of time. It is a
Yeah.
good romantic comedy. Everybody knows it. Number 5, solid.
All right. Number 4. What sits at number 4? We have The Breakup, Never Been Kissed, The Wedding Singer, and
And the other sister.
The Other
Yeah.
Sister.
I think maybe Never Been Kissed.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
That's what I was thinking
Never
for
been
number
kissed.
4.
Uh-huh.
Good good love story. But yeah, okay. We're getting there.
Number 3 for me would be The Breakup, but that's just me.
Yeah, we don't want to put it too far up because it was more so me and Leslie really liked
Yeah.
it more than I think you did. So
Well, I mean, I did like The Breakup, but as far as a romantic comedy, it's almost like it is romantic, but also too, it's got a whole, it's got the whole breakup.
it does have a
Yes,
breakup
so
in it.
it's
I
got-
mean, it's,
yeah.
It kind of shies away from your typical rom-com. So
Yeah, it's going to bring you down to earth a little bit.
So we'll put that at number 3. And now we have to decide The Wedding Singer or The Other Sister. What makes number 1? What makes number 2?
all right, if I can, this is my pitch.
Okay.
Okay, I think I love them both. Wedding Singer was on my honorable mentions. Didn't even think about the other sister. I think the Wedding Singer should be number 1 and the other sister number 2. Only because as far as rom-coms go, I think that the Wedding Singer has more of the comedy and romance aspect to it than the other. The other sister is drama, romance, and comedy too.
Yes, that's true.
But it's a little bit more of a serious story than The Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer hits every single mark that you can hit for a rom-com.
I would have to totally agree with that.
Great actors, great cameos, like everything in The Wedding Singer songs. It's all. If you have John Lovitz in your movie.
Yeah. We
There
didn't
you
even
go.
mention George in his band.
The crowd's really turning on George. Give me time.
Just start over.
Just start it again. Yeah.
Do you shut up? You suck.
Is that Alexis Arquette?
Alexis Arquette,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I thought. Okay.
So, guys,
R.I.P.
boom, people. It is top 5 romantic comedies. It's taken us a while, but we have gotten there. So, number 5 on our list, Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, Richard Gere. Number 4, Never Been Kissed, of course, with Drew Barrymore as Josie Grossi and David Arquette as the creepy brother. Number 3, The Breakup, Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston, Jon Favreau, and Fred Willard. Is
And
that
the
Fred
kick drum.
Willard? No, it's not Fred Willard that
No,
plays
it's the guy from Arrested Development.
Yes, sorry.
Michael Bluth. I can't think of his name. Bateman.
No, I was talking about who
Jason
plays the
Bateman?
come on the kick drum.
Oh gosh, I don't know his name.
But yes.
We'll just give the kick drum the honorable mention.
Yeah, we gotta, yes. Yeah, big shout out. Number 2, The Other Sister. So big shout out to Juliette Lewis, Giovanni Ribisi, Tom Skerritt, Diane Keaton. And then number 1, what is there to say? The Wedding Singer. Love this movie. And of course, Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore again. Melody from Hey Dude.
Right.
And that guy from every other Adam
And
Sandler movie.
I loved her hair
Yeah.
in the wedding, like Melody from Hey Dude.
I like your bracelets. You look like Madonna. That's the point.
Yeah.
I loved her hair, and I was like, is that really a perm?
Yeah.
Or like, was her hair actually that curly? But I'm sure it was a perm.
3
Wasn't it?
meatballs a lesson.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. She's like,
yeah. Squishing them all in his hand.
Take a bite. That's my favorite part.
I just love the kids in that movie too. Like they're like, the husband. I can't think of who the actor is that plays it.
Dude, the husband's hair
The husband
is insane.
of his sister.
What were they talking about? Going in the basement and pinching each other's nipples?
Your sister, me and her used to be pretty wild. Your sister, she would, she worked my nipples a little bit. But his hair is absolutely insane.
She's like, you had your silk shirt unbuttoned. You look like you with your leather pants. And like you look like David Lee Roth.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god, girl, get it together.
Like David Lee Roth. That'd be hard.
I
Singer
live
Final
in my
Warning.
sister's basement. It's great.
That is the best.
Get out
It
of here,
is.
Freddy
It really is the
Krueger.
best rom-com.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Of all time.
The tribe has spoken. And guys, I know this episode's running a little long here, but just to wrap it up, our final installment here in this episode of this jam-packed Valentine's Day sode, the least favorite. Okay, we're going to end on a note for you to debate. So if you don't agree with our favorites or our least favorites, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Sean vs. Wild at Gmail or on Facebook, and we'll argue about it. I will literally fucking argue with you.
Me too.
About it.
I
Me too.
don't care.
Alyssa
Me three.
and Leslie will as well. So
We'll just gang up on you.
pretty
3-on-1.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
and allow me to retort. Okay,
Per my last email.
Yeah. As mentioned in my previous installment, in my previous email. Okay, so with our least favorite here, I was just checking the time here because we are running a little long. Let's go ahead and we won't necessarily do our honorable mentions. Let's just get right to the meat and the potatoes. My absolute least favorite, I can't say my absolute least favorite, but the one that I... to refer back to last year's Valentine's Day podcast, I was talking about a movie called League of Their Own, and I said this is a movie, one of the movies where every time I watch it, I just wish it would end differently.
Yeah.
And it bums me out. And my number one pick for my least favorite, because of this exact reason, I wish it would have ended. I don't like the ending. Number one, Pretty in Pink. So
Yes.
the
Okay,
fact
so we
that
did bring that up
I
at
did-
some point.
Yeah,
it
we
all
did.
came full
Okay.
circle.
It did.
And the reason why I picked Pretty in Pink is simply because, she's trying to win over Blaine this whole movie. Ducky's there this whole time. That loves her, wants to take care of her, and wants to be with her, and wants to be cool, and all that good sort of thing, and does everything that he can. And then, when it comes to the prom, he dresses up and he wants to take her out. And then he is dissed in one of the most
shit on.
Yeah.
in
Let's
one of the
just say
most
it.
crucial disses of 80s teen cinema.
Why were the 80s so harsh?
Well,
They were.
They
actually,
were just like really mean.
yeah. Well, Andrew McCarthy was so hot at the time that the original ending is for her to end up with Ducky, and because Andrew McCarthy was like the heartthrob and stuff at the time, it tested very low with audiences. So they changed the ending to where she ends up with Andrew McCarthy for some reason. And then I felt like they tried to go back and maybe try to half-ass hint that like maybe Ducky would be gay, or maybe Ducky was, then they gave Ducky like that other woman to like be like, oh, hey, what's up, baby? Like the very last minute.
Right, yeah. And it didn't make any sense.
It was slapdash because of that. And what a heartbreaker. I shouldn't say it's my least favorite, but I would say that's the most heartbreaking rom-com.
Yeah.
So that's why I made number one.
Right.
Leslie.
I think I'm going to get hated for my number one for sure. Because
Like an elf that wants to be a dentist.
so many people love this movie, and it comes out around Christmas. You know what I'm going to say. My most hated rom-com, I feel it's completely overrated. Alyssa's backing up.
It's coming out at Christmas.
Well,
I love all Christmas, so I'm
yeah. She's had plenty of bitch wine, so she's backing up like, bitch, I will
She's
slap you.
fueled up.
Yeah. Love Actually.
Oh no, I don't fight you on that
do
at
not
all.
like it.
Never liked it.
Never
I actually
liked
did
it.
not.
The fact that the guy from The Walking Dead is a total dick to his best friend's wife simply because he has a crush on her. So somehow that's her fault.
Yeah.
To be a total asshole.
It's not.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
kidding. Zig.
Yeah. So
It's
he's
not actually.
yeah. So he's a total dick to her. And then you got like the guy that cheats on his wife
hate
with
it.
the hot like little secretary, and his wife's heart is broken because she thought she was getting the necklace, but he got her the CDs
That's
instead.
the most heartbreaking scene
Yes,
of a movie.
I
Like I don't
know.
like it at all.
And
I don't like the
the little kid who like suddenly learns how to play drums like he's been doing it for 20 years at his like school's recital, and then
what are you, Animal from the Muppets? Get
Yeah,
outta
what
here.
the hell?
yes,
Where did this
I
come
know.
from?
I mean, and that kid's probably like 25 years old, and he looks like he's 7 in the movie too. It's totally unbelievable. Just everything is completely overrated about that movie, and I can't stand it.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't mind parts of it, but the part that I'm just like, why is this here? It's just the guy, Tim from British Office,
Yeah.
Martin Freeman. His whole scenes where they're just like, I'm on set of a movie and we're gonna have sex
Right,
the whole time.
yes.
And I was just like, really? Like,
And maybe make a connection while I'm pornoing you. I don't know. Yeah.
While we're fake doing
I
it.
just don't get how people are obsessed with this movie.
Yeah.
Like people really like Love Actually. It's one of their favorite rom-coms, and they just every year at Christmas and Valentine's Day I love it. I don't
don't
like it. It
know.
doesn't put me in a good mood.
It doesn't
No.
me either.
What a bummer.
Yeah,
I know.
it's a
I totally
bummer.
brought it down.
I question the person that really likes Love Actually. Like I'm putting this out there right now.
I
like if
think
you
you
like
should.
Love Actually a lot, I kind of don't trust you a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to have tweets about it.
Yeah.
We need to have a tweet fight.
Yeah.
I feel like Miranda Curl likes Love Actually.
She might.
I think
She
I
might.
remember her telling me she liked it once. So
She might not. I don't know.
Really?
I don't want to put that out
Maybe-
there.
Maybe it's people who really haven't seen it, and then there's just all this social media love about it, and they're like, "Oh my god, I totally love that." And it's like, you really?
And
What-
it's like British, so it kind of does like lose a little bit coming over here,
Yeah.
I guess,
And then how was that one girl that worked for what was his name? Hugh something.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah. And she's always like,
Is it-
"Oh, my boyfriend told me I was too fat." And I mean, she like weighs like $1.10.
Like 1
yeah, I'm like,
pound.
who's calling you fat? Like,
Davey
that's-
Hogan. He was fat, real fat. He must have weighed around 180. One of my favorite lines from Stand By Me. And they just show like his name is Lard Ass. And he's just like, he was fat, real fat. He must have weighed 180.
Yeah, crazy. yeah. I'm like, nobody's buying that lady.
Yeah.
Like,
Christian
come on.
Bale weighs 180.
yeah. Sorry to
sure.
break it to you.
But yeah. Alyssa,
Okay.
what is your least favorite?
Well, I went a little differently as far as I don't have one least favorite. My least favorite
I have a
is
least favorite trilogy.
yeah. It is anything with Hugh Grant. I don't like Hugh Grant at all.
You don't like the stumbling, mumbling?
Nope, none at all. No Notting Hill.
no,
Nothing with Hugh Grant.
nothing.
No, I don't know what else he's been in because I haven't watched
Love
it.
Actually.
Yeah.
Love
yeah. Well, I
Actually.
mean,
Yeah.
9
yeah.
months.
9 months.
9
that
months.
movie, 9 months?
Was he in?
Was he in
was
Four
in
Weddings
America's
and a
Sweethearts?
Funeral?
4 Weddings and a Funeral. He's in like I looked up before I came here today like top 50 rom-coms on Cosmo and Vogue and like all the internet things to try to make sure my list was complete. I didn't forget anything.
Right.
And so many of them were Hugh Grant movies that I was like, I don't even have a least favorite. It's just any movie Hugh
Right.
Grant has ever been in is my least favorite.
Yeah, I don't
really
find
do not
him
like him.
endearing at
He's not
all.
attractive. He's not endearing. He's not sweet. In real life, he's not even a good person, you know? So it's like I have nothing to enjoy any movie he's been in.
No.
So
I also am not a big Hugh Grant fan either.
I
So.
don't know who is. Honestly, I've never met anybody who's like,
Hey.
you know who my favorite actor is? Hugh Grant.
If anybody out there is a huge Hugh Grant mark,
Please let me know because am I missing something? Because I really
Right.
don't
I
like
would really
him.
like to have a sit down.
yeah, I would like to know what you know, and maybe you can enlighten me.
Because we obviously don't.
Because I hate him.
So there you go, guys. This has been a
We're going to end it on,
Yeah, end it on that.
some Hugh Grant hate.
Grant. Fuck off.
Hashtag fuck you, Grant.
Fuck you, buddy.
You.
But guys, this has been a jam-packed episode of the Sean vs. Wild podcast for Valentine's Day. Leslie, thank you so much for joining me. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining me. Do you have anything to say to the listeners out there? Before
I was
we
just
ride
going to
off?
give my club at
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys, thanks, Sean, for having me on
Hey.
again for Valentine's Day.
You're
It's become a
welcome.
great tradition.
This will be a
I love it.
holiday thing. So we had a great Valentine's Day. It's time to finish off the bitch. And
I think we have already. I think
we
Alyssa
did finish the bitch.
oh my gosh.
Come here, hit this bitch.
It's just like there could be pickles floating in there. It's like just vinegar at this point.
It tasted a lot better as the bottle went down. Yeah.
It's like
more
actually
I
really
drink it.
good now.
We
You know?
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find some bitch 08 specifically.
Right.
Now, I
Can
don't
we-
want the 2016. I want the 08.
I'm looking for a bitch sponsorship at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Very high. Yeah, I'm the spokesperson for bitch. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Sean vs. Wild. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe across all of social media. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's wherever you get your podcasts. Also, feel free to subscribe on YouTube. I don't have a lot of YouTube subscribers because I don't know how many people like to listen to their podcasts on YouTube. I
And Alyssa's polishing off the
yeah,
last
I just wanted to hear
dribble.
the dainty drop.
Yeah.
The last drop of bitch.
You know me, okay?
But
I
yes.
gotta get that.
And
that
guys,
last.
don't forget the top 5 movies that you need to be checking out this Valentine's Day. Just to reiterate, number 5, Pretty Woman. Number 4, Never Been Kissed. Number 3, The Breakup. Number 2, The Other Sister. Number 1, The Wedding Singer. And don't forget, fuck you, Grant. This has been the special Valentine's Day edition of the Sean vs. Wild podcast.
Holy shit!